Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Bobby. We have Chrissy, no Scott today,
No, Scott.
unfortunately. Scott, we will see you tomorrow for our second part of this dual part episode. I'm pretty excited about it. But tonight is episode 109, which is pretty friggin' awesome. No, it's actually 110. Sorry. It's 110
Oh,
because tomorrow Dillner's got 111.
nice. Love that.
So, um, our guest tonight is Brent. Wertz, how you doing, sir? Or
Wentz.
Good,
Wentz?
really good. Yeah, we're good. 110 is a good number, actually. Growing up in Pennsylvania, I was around all the modified tracks, and Russ France was a big name in the area, and he was number 110. So there's not a lot of 110. So there's actually some similarities, or full circle stuff that comes with the 110 number.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Love
And sorry for botching your last name. I'm looking at the little itty bitty print. I was just gonna say your first name, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say the whole thing, and then I botched it. So I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. We'll let you slide on this one.
Well, that's good because technically there's two Brent Wentz in North Carolina. And if you Google his name, just Brent Wentz, you're going to find an attorney and they're not related. You got
Yeah,
it?
that's definitely not me. I didn't take those classes in college, so we're all good there.
I don't know
So,
if I'd want you as my lawyer, Brent. Sorry.
jeez.
No offense.
So the first thing I'm gonna bring up is obviously the breaking news that happened today. Um, Brett, I'm gonna ask you. I mean, what do you think about this whole situation? I mean, Daniel comes on, accidentally says what he says. Now, NASCAR got involved. NASCAR is saying they have to do he has to go through sensitivity training and all that. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Being in the sport, being a spotter, like how do you go about it, dealing
Yeah,
with that?
I think you always have to think about what you say, right? We're in a big business, it is a big sport, but it's more of a business, and you represent a lot of different things. You represent your team, you represent a manufacturer, you represent a sponsor, you represent your teammates, your family, et cetera, right? So we've seen this happen in our sport many different ways, not just the way it was presented this time, but there was, a couple other instances where people have to go through sensitivity training and things like that. So it's more of a, you have to have a little self control, and especially when you're on streams like Twitch and whatnot, and there's always a camera. There's always, it doesn't matter about in a public setting, like you just have to, you know, people have different ways of viewing things, right? Things you like, things you don't like, but all that you kind of got to contain into your own little world, because these days it's just, there's too much on the line, right? You're racing at the top stage in motorsports and stock car racing, and to do that, and you're going to be tarnished for what you say and what you do. So these are kids, you know what I mean? These are kids in an adult sport, you know what I mean? Like, half of them aren't even freaking mature yet to even, they don't know yes, no, right, wrong. They've never had anybody to tell them right, wrong, or indifferent. So maybe a slap on the hand and a little digress in the media, maybe it'll help people like that. It'll bring, hopefully it brings a little bit of light to, you know, what what he did, and he'll learn from it, hopefully, and he'll go on with his career if they let him. But it's a learning process for everybody. It's a different world anymore. You can't, your opinions are your opinions, but nobody really cares what your opinions are anymore. So you just got to keep it roped in a little bit.
Well, obviously you've seen it. Matt Collig and Chris Rice just made a statement saying that he has been suspended indefinitely, and they're looking at candidates on who's going to be in the ride. I'm hoping it's Landon Huffman or Corey LaJoy. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Corey's already running the one truck, so there's not really a lot of candidates. I mean, the other thing is this is a big Dodge coming back party, and Dodge is kind of on its own little island with its drivers, so it'll be interesting to see who's out there. I mean, I can think of a couple offhand people like that aren't connected to manufacturers like Matt DiBenedetto and a couple other people that might be bringing their seat to that shop right now because they are a Dodge manufactured program, so you can't really put a Chevy guy in there, or a Toyota guy, or a Ford guy. So it's going to have to be somebody kind of off the wall, maybe from their show that they just did. Mike Christopher Jr. Like, there's a lot of talented people that you could probably plug and play, but it's one of the most difficult tracks on the circuit too. Like, just plug and play somebody at Darlington is going to be it'd be a long weekend for them because of the situation they were dealt. So
Absolutely.
It's gonna be one of those, all right, just stay in the back, don't do anything crazy, bring the truck home clean, please, thank you. But yeah,
yeah, I feel like somebody like you got to put somebody in there with experience, and I bring up Matt's name, but I mean that's I feel like that's about your only option that has experience at that racetrack that you could just
I've got one person, and I've been thinking about it since I've heard this. Case Kane. Case Kane comes back for one race.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
maybe.
think I think he might already be in that little game show that they got going on for the season. So,
Because
so
Dodge doesn't want just anybody after that whole scene coming back.
yeah, maybe
they
they
back for one race. Oh.
yeah maybe they moving up a couple races or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to put somebody in there that has experience. Or you're just gonna have a long weekend in South Carolina for sure.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
I wanna get start off the show by saying welcome to the podcast. And can you tell us about how you got into racing? Tell us about yourself, and then I'll let Chrissy run it after that. Just
Yeah,
for a minute.
yeah. I mean, I grew up around racing. I mean, from I was probably cars just all the time. My dad owns body shops in Pennsylvania. So I was always around cars, but I was about maybe 5 or 6 years old when my dad bought his first race car in 1987. And from then on, I've been indulged in racing. I mean, that's all I really know is racing. So yeah, I just grew up. My dad raced, my brother raced. I raced a little bit myself. Not the best career choice in my mind, but I started once I was already down here in racing, so I never really raced full time. I just did it for fun with our family cars and things like that. But yeah, I mean, racing is just part of my life. So it was just moved down here after high school, and I was 17 years old when I started in racing down here in 1999, and yeah, I've been going ever since. So it's been a good run. Been able to do a lot of cool things, and stuff that I would have never dreamed of as a kid at the racetrack, running my Matchbox cars through the dirt and the grandstands and things like that. But to get a job doing what you love and enjoy, it's fortunate, and I'm definitely blessed to be able to do what I do every weekend. So yeah, it's just not a lot of people get through all these decades of it, and I've persevered, and I feel like I'm well respected in the sport. So I'm just grateful for all the opportunities, and hopefully they carry on for years to come for sure.
So how did you get into spotting specifically? How did you realize that was it for you?
Well, for the first 22 years, 3 years, all the way up till 2020, I worked as a pit crew member over the wall. I was a fabricator. I was a mechanic. I was a car chief at Penske on the 22 Xfinity car for 5 years. We won a lot of championships. We won a lot of races. So I was always hands on in the racing part. And the spotting thing, actually, it was around 2000. 8, I would say. I was at the Brickyard 400, and I was working for Matt Kenseth at Roush, and I was a mechanic, and so travel every weekend and this and that. Well, you use 2 spotters at Indianapolis, one on the pagoda, one on the front of the pagoda, one on the back of the pagoda. You don't do that. You don't do that anymore because Roger doesn't let anybody up there. But so now it's turn 1 and turn 3. But I was just a mechanic, and Mike Kalanoff, who was our spotter for Matt, race day morning, whoever was the second spotter, I don't know the whole logistic story of it, but the second spotter didn't make didn't make it to Indianapolis. Well, we were in our team meeting, and Mike was like, we don't have a second spotter, and Matt was just like, well, Brent can do it, and I'm like, Brent who? Like, oh, what do you mean I can do it? Like, I've never done it, but it's something that you hear repetitively every weekend you're at the racetrack. So he's like, yeah, you can do it. I know you can do it. I'm like, Brickyard 400 it was a huge deal back then. It's kind of faded off a little bit, but it's, you're just Brickyard 400, like, nervous,
It's
like
like
so
it's like them asking you to do it at the Daytona 500 at that
I've
time.
never done it. So they just hand me a radio, and I go up there, and he just gives me a few pointers, and he's like, oh, you're going to do the restart. You're going to do from this corner to this corner. You're going to do pit road. I'm like, anything else? Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I like those situations, and I've done that a lot in my career where you just get handed the ball and figure it out. That's part of this sport. You always have to just figure it out. So that was my first ever time doing it. And then I did it that race, and it all worked out. It was good. And he thought, Mike and him thought I did a good job. And so I carried on I never did it as a career. I always did it at road courses where you need more than one guy. I was always the auxiliary spotter, right? Like the second spotter. So I just never did it as a career because I had other goals, right? So yeah, so I did it, and 2020 came. I was at Penske working for the Wood Brothers at the time. COVID, all that BS happened. None of us wanted that. None of us asked for COVID, right? But there was a lot of layoffs, and a lot of things changed in racing. There was teams doing more with less, and we found out we didn't need to do all this practice, and the whole dynamic of racing for us changed. So yeah, eventually I got furloughed and laid off by Penske kind of out of the blue, which again, nobody asked for that, right? So they just had to do what they had to do, and you know, of course you're pissed off and mad and don't really know what direction to go after that. But you finally, you just take it for granted and then figure it out. What do you want to do next? So, yeah, I just knew I didn't want to go back to doing what I was doing because I felt like I achieved all my goals and I got all the t-shirts and I got all that stuff with that part of my career. So, we just talked about it and figured we'd go this direction. And I went, well, a few weeks later after the furlough, and then it was a layoff because we just never went back.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, I got a phone call to go to Indianapolis 500 and spot for Takuma Sato at the COVID Indianapolis 500, and then that was my first spotting real outside of what I was normally doing, and we ended up winning that race. Not a big deal or anything. So,
Yeah.
so we, it was my first time at an IndyCar race, my first time spotting an IndyCar race, first time watching at an IndyCar event, and we ended up winning the biggest one of them all. So that kind of just changed my outlook and my path. So we just went from there and pretty much went and did modified racing with Bobby Labonte. Kind of went back to my roots a little bit. Went to a lot of short tracks. Did oval IndyCar races. Worked with 2311 and Hendrick at all the IndyCar or the NASCAR road courses, junior motorsports. just you had to start over with your career. So you have to figure out how to make the steps. People know me, people respect me, but you still have to be good at it, right? So you just keep plugging away and let this guy will tell this guy you did a good job, and the more people that hear you, the better off it is. And then 3 years ago, I got a shot to go right to the Cup Series with Rick Ware Racing, and took that job, and here we are still doing it today. And it's been nothing but great. It's a great team. It's a great Rick and Lisa are awesome. Cody's awesome. Like, the whole group, I know everybody pretty well. Tommy Baldwin, Robbie Benton. So it's a good mix of people that I've worked with throughout my, you know, 26, 7 year career in racing. So like I said, everything comes full circle. So, you know, so here we are. I'm just happy to be here with a good group. And this year we've made a lot of gains with our alliance with Richard Childress and Chevrolet, and I think there's some better things to come as we get this season a little further going.
Well, let's talk about, since we're talking about spotting, let's talk about your video you posted, or somebody posted, about you telling Cody hands, hands, hands. Like, how did you even know that was coming?
Well, last year at Vegas, everybody remembers when William Byron was kind of was not leading the race. I think he was second, but the deal with Ty Dillon and William Byron, that collision they had at pit entry. When you see that stuff, and the end result is, unfortunately somebody got fired because of it, right? Like, which I feel like was one of the crappiest decisions. Like, it's not. We can only do so much, right? Our number one goal up there is for safety, right? But if a car careens up the track, and nobody has any warnings, and it all happens so fast. But when you have situations like that happen, and it was a bad deal, and somebody lost their job, and like when you go back to that track, like that's on your mind, right? So you don't want that to happen again, or you don't want to be part of that. So when you're doing your studying and you're watching film and things like that, like it weighs heavy on your mind, and you just keep in your mind when you see that first car hit pit road, which was Ryan Blaney, and you're running in a pack of cars, you just want the driver to know that the cycle has started. So you don't, those cars in front of you might just bear off and pit, and the spotters are, we're about 50, 40, 50 yards long on the roof. So if you're not next to the guy you're racing, you have no warnings or anything. So you got to just plant that little seed. Like when I said, watch for hands, that's just a hand going out the window. Maybe somebody gives you a fair warning that they're pitting down the back straightaway. And then your driver's focused on looking for that one little seed, right? And he saw Ricky put his hand out there, and we were able to avoid a disaster, really. So it's not mind reading, it's just kind of trying to stay ahead of the game a little bit. And for one lap, everything communication wise worked out, and it's not going to happen like that every time. As you saw with the 88, I mean, he plowed through the diffuser of the 47, right? And he was right behind him. So, it's a rookie driver with a rookie spotter on the 88, and it's just a situation that they'll learn from going forward.
So, I was told to ask by Scott, our other co-host, how is it spotting for Garrett Smithley?
Oh, it's awesome. I started, you know, 3 years ago when he was at JD Motorsports. It was my rookie year spotting in the Cup Series, and you always want to have like an Xfinity car also because you're there. So the Xfinity teams feed off of people that are already there, like the Cup team guys. So we all do like all three series, and Johnny Davis called me. It was around the Rolex 24 hours time, and he asked if I would spot for them, and I didn't really know who the drivers were and this and that, but actually it was Johnny that called me first, and then Garrett just happened to be the driver at the time, and Yeah, we did that whole, 3/4 of a year with Johnny Davis till he shut the doors, and we became friends and had a good relationship. And he liked the way I did things, and I liked the way he did things with respect of, the team that he was driving for, and things like that. Like, you look at these teams, there's A, B, C tier, but like the drivers that are out there that know their place and have good situational awareness of what's going on and don't hinder the race. Like, that's what we were doing at that time with Johnny's deal, which was great. It was a good learning experience. And he got the opportunity last year to run full time for Bobby Dotter and Randy and Beth Knighton. And he called me then last winter and asked me to be, his spotter. And we've continued it on, to this year. And yeah, it was a great opportunity. It's good to work with fun people who respect you, and you have a good rapport. And if things go bad, you pick each other up, and you go on. So I think it's a good relationship, and I'm glad I got to be part of his career just a little bit here towards the last couple of years.
So what's the hardest part of your job as a spotter? Like, is it a specific type of track, road course versus oval, or is there certain things that make it a little difficult?
Well, I feel like the road courses are just a different animal. Like, we use three different spotters there, so you got to kind of, you got to. Most of the tracks we use three. Sometimes we use two, but like the most we'll use, I believe, is probably four this year at San Diego. So yeah, it's a lot of. I feel like the logistics of it all. Finding three or four people that you trust for one, and getting those people on the same page as you, and it's hard to find. It's going to be hard to find something that suits you 100%, right? So you just have to find trusting people. And I think that's where you try to find good rapport with people. So, but I think that the toughest thing is just staying mentally focused, and not and staying like a good tone and not getting too excited. And you know maybe once every month I'll drop like an F bomb or something just by accident, just because
Really?
it.
Never.
Yeah, I mean, just like you just kind of get in a mode where something doesn't go right, and you just have to kind of release a little bit. But I try to stay. You try to be the calming voice, right? The drivers are in their own element, and they're doing something that's kind of unreal out there, and they're going to get fired up, right? It's your job to keep them composed, right? And I think that's what we do a good job with Cody is, sometimes things aren't going to be going great, right? And we just gotta, you know, and he does a good job of keeping cool, but there's going to be times where it just, you
Stuff
know,
happens.
yeah, you're just gonna get pissed off, and you're gonna cuss, and but I feel like it's your job to get them back in a rhythm, and get going. So yeah, I mean, you got to be a little bit of a cheerleader. You got to be a little bit of a, some of these guys say they're drivers, coaches, or whatever they want to say, but you just have to be calm, cool, collective, and do your job, and be aware of what's going on, and just keep everybody at bay a little bit. But I don't think there's a hard part of the job. I just think there's a lot of different things that you got to control, whether it's driver mentality or your own mentality through the race. 'Cause these aren't short races, and these guys race the piss out of each other all the time. Even I'm telling you, they need to make a reality show or a separate channel that is 25th to 38th, and just show that race, because
There's a lot going on back there.
yeah, it's a freaking madhouse back there. It's the hardest racing goes on from about 20th to 40th, if there's that many cars. But yeah, they need to have a separate channel just for that. They would it would be a good show for sure.
Let's let me ask you this. So I'm friends with Tab Boyd. Been friends with him for a while.
Yep.
He does these little videos
2
Chris,
minutes.
yeah, 2 minutes, 3 minutes of his race day, how his day went. Are we gonna get that of Brent and see how what the story of Brent is for a
Yeah,
race?
I'm pretty sure we all have the same 2 minutes. You can just replace him with one of us. You can't see him. You can't see him in the video anyway. So just close your eyes and envision somebody else there. But yeah, I mean, everybody's 2 minutes is going to be the same. You know, you click the hotel room key, you get coffee, you get food, you go to the spotter stand, you do your race, you go back to the hotel, you shower, you go to dinner, you go to a concert, you go. It's all the same. We're all. He's doing all of us a favor by doing it himself, and we can like razz him a little bit about his social media presence. But yeah, I feel like everybody's the same, right? Like I don't think there's too much different. We all we all basically do the same things. I mean, by the time we're done with a truck race, you kind of just want to go eat, go to sleep because you're doing it all over. You're doing it all over repetitively all weekend till your cup race is over. So
Like
yeah,
Groundhog Day for 3 days.
yeah. Like the days of going out and going to the bar and boozing and all that other stuff is kind of out the window anymore because you got way too much on your plate. You got way too much responsibility. Sometimes you just want to go back to sleep, eat, whatever, and just do it all over again the next day and just get on the airplane and get home. So, but yeah, I mean, Tab's been around a while. He was our spotter when I worked at Penske. He was one of our spotters. Yeah, so I mean, he's obviously well respected in the sport, and we like to give him a hard time about his little videos here and there, but it's everybody everybody has a different value. Everybody has a different character. We're all not the same. We might not like what this guy does and what this guy does, but we're all there for one common goal, right? So to each their own when it comes to that kind of stuff.
So Scott asked me, he just texted me, he's watching. So, hey, Scott, he wanted to know what sneakers you wear for those long days.
I'm stuck with the Air Jordan Air Force Ones. Lows is what I wear. I like them because they're flat. They're growing up, I was always like a shoes, sunglasses, watch kind of
Like that
guy.
guy.
So the accessories, So I like I like nice shoes. Like so, I buy fashionable, cool looking shoes. Plus they're comfortable. I mean, plus Michael Jordan's pretty awesome, right? So I might as well just
He
wear
likes
his.
NASCAR.
He supports what we do for a living.
Yep.
It's no different than going and buying, like your favorite candy bar because it's on a race car or Tide detergent because it's on a race car. These people are putting millions and millions and millions of dollars into a sport that pays us to do what we do. So you might as well support those people. So if Michael Jordan's watching, send me some free shoes.
Always down for some free shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
But
gonna
I
say,
like them because they're flat, right? Because I have another pair that I just bought, like a pair of Air Jordans, but they're like running shoes. But like do this, like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like just like feel like I'm standing on a ball.
And
So
get seasick.
yeah,
now don't get me wrong, I like my Air Jordans, but I found a new love for Brooks.
yeah. Yeah. The only thing you'll see me running from is a bullet. So I'm not getting no running shoes if I don't have to have them.
If you're running, we're running.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Must be
yeah.
something wrong.
But
well,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, like I said, everybody's different, right? The comfort for everybody is a little bit different. So, I go for the style and comfort. So kill two birds with one stone kind of
Might
thing.
as well. You're wearing them all weekend. Might as well look cool and walk nicely.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what is the major difference, if there is one, between spotting for Indy versus spotting for IMSA versus spotting for NASCAR? I know there's different style of racing, but
Yeah, I think everything, basically for me is I just try to tend to what the drivers want, right? I feel like the spotting part is your little niche and you do it how you do it. but you try to get feedback from the people that you're spotting for, Takuma Sato, Jordan Taylor, Herta, Luis Deltrans, Garrett Smithley, Cody Ware, right? You kind of start out, it's almost like a recipe, right? You have your own recipe, but you kind of like put different things in it for different events, right? So, like you just get feedback from the drivers. If you start out with your normal deal, and then I always say, no news is good news, right? Like if they think that's okay, then that's what you stick with. Now, if they want something else, then you just change it up a little bit. Like I feel like I haven't changed my ways of doing anything in any of the series, but wording is a lot different in IndyCar. Um, I know Takuma had one thing in Indianapolis where, you know, I would say like in line, like the car behind you is in line. Well, he didn't like that saying because he heard in first, so he thinks inside. So like in his mind, when he hears the first syllable of in, he he wants to be like, oh, inside, right? So like you have to just change up the way you do things with different people. But really throughout the years with all the people, I just stick with what I do, and then if I need to change a little wording here and there, then we do it. But pretty much across the board, it's been pretty good. Really haven't changed too much. Indy cars is tough because you have to tell everybody by name, right? So you have to know the car liveries and the paint schemes, like because they don't have big numbers on the side. Like they don't know number 3 is Dale Earnhardt or number 51 is Cody Ware, or because in NASCAR you can just say 43. They're like, oh, Eric Jones, or 42, John Hunter Nemechek. Because they're known by their numbers. And IndyCar is just, you have to know the liveries, and when you go to the Indy 500, they're all different from the week to week. So that's one of the things you have to learn during the couple practice sessions. Like when my car is not on the track at the Indy 500, I just stand there and quiz myself as the cars go around. I'm like, Newgarden, and you just start naming, you just quiz yourself because you have to know the cars and the liveries and the people driving them because that's what they go by. So yeah, there's a couple little different things, but the spotting itself, I feel like is across the board the same. I feel like the 24 hours of Daytona, you're tired, you're fatigued, it's freaking dark. It's
Usually cold at that point
it's
in
cold, it's
two,
foggy,
rainy.
it's 6 hours of caution, fog. It's but I feel like IndyCar kind of gets spread out pretty easy. You would think it's harder because the cars are faster. I feel like it's easier because the guys are a little more respectful with each other because they know if there's an issue, it could be really bad. Like they don't ram into each other. They don't.
There's no rubbing his race in an IndyCar.
Right. They don't put themselves in bad spots. Right. So if you watch the Phoenix race, like I watched the Phoenix race from the grandstands the other week, which I'm not a good race watcher, that's for sure. So I lasted about 75 laps because it's just a different kind of racing. And without the undercutting and the pit stops and the green flag cycles, there's really not a lot of, what do they call it? Argy bargy in open wheel racing. There's not a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, but you still have to be on your toes. You still have to have people up there that, you know, know what the heck they're doing, because there could be times where it's becomes a little bit of a big time race. Indy 500, a little bit different, a little different animal, huge track. You got to have two spotters, and it's their biggest race of the year. So I feel like that's probably one of their harder events. But NASCAR racing is beyond the hardest thing to spot, because
There's so much going on, and there's a lot of back and forth and bumping and this.
there's never a dull moment. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
never a dull moment. So
Is
Like,
there any chance of you doing the double again? Like spotting the
no,
double?
we talked about it over the winter with Ray Hall Letterman Racing and Takuma, and I got the contract sent to me, and it sat here for a couple weeks, and I just pondered it, and I feel like you know it is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, race in the United States. I mean, it really is beyond the Daytona 500 to me. But sometimes things get repetitive, and it's not like it's lost its luster for me. But I have a NASCAR teams with Thor Sport and SS Greenlight RWR that pay me good money to do my job. So there has to become a time where you have to put the sideshow thing to the side. I tried to do it for 2 years and got rained on, it's just there's a lot of logistics that into it. The All-Star race this year is at Dover. When it was in Wilkesboro or Charlotte, if I didn't make it back, I know I had people locally here that could go do my job on backup. There's just a lot of logistics that go into it, and there's not going to be any Hendrick planes or anything to get back and forth this year, so it just really wasn't worth the aggravation of trying to do it. Love the race. Would love to get back there eventually, but this year we decided that we're gonna just focus on RWR, SS, and Thor Sport for those weekends, and just put our best foot forward to the people that give me a good life. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and we'll watch it on TV.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'll actually talking about Thorsport. We'll be down there in the next couple weeks.
yeah,
I
yeah,
live 40 minutes from the track or from the race shop.
yeah. So I just started this year spotting for Jake Garcia on the truck side. So this is the first year that I've done all three series full time. So yeah, it's been fun. It's like it's neat to get to know other people and other drivers, and get that trust factor. Just like last weekend, our Xfinity team, Cole Custer, drove the zero. So it was my first time ever working with him. Now, obviously, we race around him all the time, but it's almost funny because you kind of get a little bit of an advantage on Sunday when you're spotting for the guy that you race against on Saturday. You're spotting the guy Saturday that you race against Sunday. So like some of his tendencies where he on restarts and things like that, like he's very aggressive and you know where he's going. Like he started behind us a few times in at Vegas in the Cup race, and I'm like, I know the move. I know your move that you're going to do if you start behind us because you did it yesterday. So yeah, it's a little bit of an advantage to have those multiple drivers that are going to race against each other on Sunday. But yeah, it's just cool to broaden the resume and broaden all the people that I work with, because it's like a big network, right? So the more people that you work with, the more people that hear you, the better off your chances of succeeding in this business for a long duration. It just helps it all.
So standing, I assume, so like at the beginning of the race, you guys are probably already up at the spotter stand, right? So like Daytona 500, were you up there when the Thunderbirds were flying over, or were you making your way up there?
Oh, yeah. It's like their Daytona 500, they buzz you, like feel like they take your hat right off. But it's just cool because you're never going to get that close to
Yeah.
a jet. So that's pretty neat. And then this year, I think they buzzed us from behind, from the
Mhm.
side, from the front, from the back.
We were waiting, so we were
Yeah.
all there. We were over in coming out of turn 4 into pit entrance. And being there, since I live close, I go there for multiple 500s. I know that every year they go and then they come back. So we were waiting because normally they go and then they come back, but they just went and then they piddled around and then they came back and then they did it again and did it.
I felt like the race started and they came back at one point.
Yeah, no, because they were pacing, they were doing the pace lap or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And they did, I forget what it was. that made everyone's attention look down toward turn 4, and then they came straight out from like the corner. Because I remember we
The-
were like, oh, that's so cool. Like the car's revved or something. So everyone looked over to turn 4.
yeah.
Boom. They
I
went.
They
think
were they were
I
right
think
in
that's
front of us. They were actually
yeah.
coming right past the entrance of pit road when they flew over because I have a video of it. And I went from being here looking at Carson to whole shit.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, if you're there for the whole week for practice and the whole week and a half that you're there, week and a half sounds long, but you used to be there for like 2.5 weeks. But they're practicing the whole time, so you're just watching. You're just getting a free show every day, right? Till the big show on Sunday. But it's just like the Indy 500. The Thunderbirds uh, were there a couple times, and it's one of the things that you don't. How do I say it? You don't take the flyovers and the cool pre-race stuff like for granted, like because you're just used to like you're oh there it goes, but like if you like take a minute and just like watch it and appreciate it, it's like it's just one of those things that we just take for granted because it's every week we do it, right? But what a cool experience to see all those cool planes. And hey, I mean sometimes you get a little like a couple of these races, Martinsville, I think we get the little like Cessnas, like four of them that are trailing blue and white and American colors that are just puddling. But it's just a cool thing that we should probably take for granted more than we do, for sure.
I work at the Toledo airport, so and Chrissy and Scott know I complain about them all the time. I work next to a Air Force base,
Oh yeah,
and I'm
well,
like I'm over this. And
yeah,
then we get to Daytona. I'm working in the ARCA garage, and they're flying over. I'm like I'm so over these things, but
yeah,
I'm looking. I'm like this is cool. And
yeah,
then we get to the 500, and I'm looking at these two, and I look over at my fiance, and I said, I don't care how many times I hear it. This will never get old.
yeah. My wife just gave me the thumbs up because she's from up near Metamora, Evergreen High School, AI, Toledo area. So she props to the area people. So
Nice. Yeah, I live in Wasion now, so I'm not far at all.
that's, I mean, yeah, I mean that, yeah, that's where they're from. Yeah,
Oh, even
yeah,
better.
like it's a little town called AI. It's like this big on the map, but yeah. So yeah, she's from that area, so she's excited to hear that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sure she doesn't miss the weather though.
no,
No, we had our fair share of enough weather here this winter, so we're good to go. We got
I
our
will
foot of
trade you.
snow. Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
at 83 the other day, and it went from 83 down to 29.
Phew. Yeah, no thanks. We're good. We're good. North Carolina, it'll have 4 seasons every 4 years or something like that. So we're good to go. A little snow, a little humble pie when you get a little bit of snow is fine with me, but we don't want the everyday snow. So but it's always cool to go out and play in it, get a little half frostbite and then come back in and just watch it melt away the next day. So
Yeah, being down here in Florida, we had our own little Florida freeze. Everyone was freaking out. I was
yeah,
telling Bobby, it still is that way, but it's really interesting to see brown palm trees. It's like I'm from New York, so I'm used to the fall and I'm used to the things
yeah.
dying. But you don't normally see that in Florida. So it's just like all the palm trees are sad and droopy and brown. But we're finally bouncing back. I think we're hoping to see snow, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. It's it's like I said, it's not a rarity, but like for the last 4 5 years here, it's just you never really had a significant snowfall. But we're good. One foot worth of snow every 4 years is fine with us.
So what do you think about getting back into NASCAR? What do you think about the championship going back to the chase?
Well, I think like I said, racing becomes repetitive. So when things get repetitive, things get boring and things just like you're going to lose people's interest and you're going to lose fans and you're going to lose viewer ratings. Like you got to keep it fresh, right? So, I mean, this year I think they're doing a great job with the whole initiative of trying to bring back a little bit of the old school stuff, which everybody knows I'm an old school racing guy. So I like all the hell yeah and the things like that. As corny as it sounds, that's your base race fan is the person that is at the track and they're flipping off drivers when they're driving by and they're no t-shirts on with threes on their hairy chests and
Hell yeah,
and,
brother.
and then like just ladies doing whatever they do when the cars go by, like it's just that's your hardcore, that's your core group of fans, so you have to keep them involved. So whether it's changing the point systems, whether it's going to different tracks, whether it's changing up the formats for the all-star race or the bush clash or you have to do different stuff because people aren't just going to sit at home. And with technology these days,
Mhm.
you have to go to the racetrack. You can watch it on your phone. You can go do your own thing and then flip your phone open and watch it. So you have to give the people a reason to come to the racetracks. Like Humpy Wheeler used to do it best at Charlotte. He'd have people jumping school buses and people getting shot out of cannons for pre-race and like helicopters flying and dropping cars down, dropping people down. Like you have to come for somewhat of the entertainment factor. Like WWF wrestling, Monster Jam, it's all entertainment and they're freaking packed every time they show up. So you have to have a little entertainment with your product. And I think we lost a lot of that pizzazz the last decade. We lost touch of trying to bring in people that didn't want to be part of our sport. So you have to get back to the basics. And I think you see it. I mean, you even see it in IndyCar and NASCAR this year. It seems like the viewership is up. More people are trying to get involved and want to see what's happening next. And the point system is just part of that little puzzle. So, um, I think we need to make our product on the track a little bit better, which seems like a little bit here and there have we've had some decent races so far, so we haven't had like real snoozers. So there wasn't any natural cautions, I think, this race except for that pit road incident. But I thought the racing was good. You had guys get penalties, drive from the front to the back a few times. I mean, Denny had a penalty, drove from the back to the front. Last week, Blaney penalty, drove from the back to the front. So to do that, to run back through the field and win races, I think shows that they're gaining a little bit on it, little by little. It's been a 6-year work in progress, I guess you can call it. But maybe we're trying to find our little bit of a niche in 2026.
Brent, would you shoot yourself out of a cannon if they brought it back?
I mean, sure, you have to pay me a little bit of money, but
All
I would
right.
say,
So if not you, what driver do you think would volunteer to do something like that?
I'd say probably like that Carson Hocevar fella. He seems like he's a little bit on the don't give a shit side. So
In a
yeah,
good way. I think it's in a good way. A little bit of tuning.
I mean, even if he didn't want to get shot out of a cannon, I think 39 other drivers would probably put him in the cannon and shoot him out for them. So I don't
He
think he'd
would
really.
name
I
the
don't think he'd
cannon
really.
Ride the Dente.
He
Yeah,
would.
right. Yeah, just put him on a hot pepper and just sling him out of there. Yeah, but yeah, it's
Ride the Cante.
Yeah, there you go. There
right,
you go.
but you have to. I mean, all joking aside, you have to have people like that in the sport, and that's what we've been missing. Everything's kind of nobody's ruffling feathers. Maybe people don't like the way he does it, but you need that guy. And I feel like Kyle Busch has always been like that, which he's kind of died off a little bit on the you know
Aggression.
aggression. Yeah, I mean, these guys. I feel like when they have families and kids, they have to back away from the way they were because they don't want to be that role model to their kids, which is the right thing to do. But you need these young guys with a little bit of, don't give a shit attitudes and don't care if they have. I feel like you shouldn't have friends on the racetrack, anyways.
Right.
Like I'm not going to go out there and be friends with a guy all week and then race against him and then just let him, you let me in or you don't race me as hard. No, I just want a race. Go out there and race your race. And I feel like he's, him, maybe a Ross Chastain, like those kind of guys, they could give a crap less if they have buddies on the racetracks.
We love Hocevar in this house, and Bobby does too. He's bringing the excitement back. I think he's doing. I think there's a little bit of work maybe, but I
Yeah.
like he's
I mean,
bringing energy. He's getting people on their feet.
yeah, you got to keep, I mean, it's a guy you got to keep an eye on when you're racing out there. You're like, oh, the 77's behind us. But, that's, I don't like the comparison to Dale Earnhardt because there's never going to be another Dale Earnhardt, but probably is the best comparison because when that guy was behind you, you knew it, right? And you always kept an eye on the black number 3. And I think now when the 77's around you and you just kind of guard it as best you can. But it's like, just sneak on by, buddy. Like, well, go make the holes for us, So, but you gotta have it. It's just just like I said, if it's repetitive and there's no action and there's nothing, then nobody's gonna give a crap, and you're not gonna have fans. You have to have some kind of storyline, whether it's the villain against the good guy or it's the same thing. It's not WWF wrestling, but it's the same concept. You have to have villains to make storylines. So
All right, so I have obviously we just brought up Carson. I was going to ask one thing before we went into what my other part of my question. So you answered part of it about the Dale Earnhardt comparison. How would you look at it as being his spotter if he's running third or fourth going into Atlanta and he makes that move where it's open then it's closed within 2 seconds, or a split second?
yeah, I mean, I feel like we at that point I watched that from like the motorhome lot in turn one because we had just had our little issue in a wreck like that led up to that restart. So I was already down and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the next last couple laps, green white checkers or whatever. And I was standing right in front of it. And you as a team member, as an owner, as a sponsor, as whatever, you want that guy to go for it. You know what I mean? Like you don't want them to just be back there piddling around. Like if there's a hole, you'd rather see the guy go for it. Like I know it's probably not a very popular opinion, but it was there, and then you have a second decision to figure out if you want to go for it or not. And he went for it, and it closed. The 23 opened it up. There was a gap. He went for it. It closed. It's it is another learning situation for him. Do you want to put yourself in that position? Do you want to have people pissed off at you? But obviously he doesn't care. So he's going for the win. He hasn't won a race. You can see the lead from where you're at. You got a green white checkered. I don't really fault him for some of those moves. And I'm sure his spotter is Tyler Green, who is one of the best on the roof. And, he has an important job of bringing back the reins on him a little bit. So, like none of our jobs are easy, like, and I feel like if it's there and it's for the win, I'd go for it. So I don't fault him at all. If you're doing it for 15th, yeah, maybe not great.
Because here's the thing: if they didn't end up coming back together, he could have squeaked through and
Yeah,
potentially could have had enough momentum to get the lead. So it's just
yeah,
unfortunate that they came back
yeah.
there.
I feel like if you're in the first 3 rows of a Atlanta or a Talladega or Daytona where anything can happen, I feel like you have to just not be conservative. And it depends. Did you get stage points? How was your day up till then? Like, can you afford to rack and finish 20th? How many cars are on the lead lap? Like, how many points did you accumulate throughout the race to take that chance. I think all that comes into play when it comes down to it. You can say, oh, we got 15 stage points. We can finish 20th, and we can get just as many points by taking that risk than to just finish third. So yeah, I mean, every driver is different. Everybody has a different agenda. So you can't fault anybody for wanting to win. You know, yeah, there's been
Especially when
some.
when he came so close
Yeah,
and he was in the
yeah,
lead. So, he's
yeah.
tasted it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a dumb miscalculated moves they can't run and hide. You can watch things and be like, no, that was stupid or that was dumb because it's right there. You can watch it, and I feel like he's an aggressive guy, so that was an aggressive move, and I really don't see too much wrong with it. So
Yeah, I went from being extremely excited with Joe to I think I had tears rolling out of my eyes, and then I was happy, then I was sad again, and then I was like, "Cool, Tyler Reddick won," and I'm one of my friends won the Daytona 500, so I was like,
yeah,
"Cool."
yeah, yeah,
It's a roller coaster for us because like Joe and my husband Joe and Bobby are hosts of our fans, so they were yay. And then that happened and we were all like, oh, and then my husband goes, wait, Chase is still in it. And I was like, oh, okay. Then we got
yeah,
excited again because obviously I like Chase Elliott.
yeah.
And
I
then,
think that
all right, cool. I'm really happy for Tyler Reddick, but damn.
I'm over here hooting and hollering. They're looking at me like, "Why the hell are you hooting and hollering?" I'm like,
yeah,
"My buddy just won the
yeah,
500."
yeah, yeah. I feel like like the Daytona 500 is, as a stock car guy, that's the biggest race on your schedule. What It's weird because it's our first race, but it always has been, right? So, but I feel like another one that when you win it, you realize the first time that you should probably enjoy it, and if you get a second time, then you enjoy it even more. And like I've been fortunate enough to be in victory lane twice for the Daytona 500 as a mechanic. And you see these guys. A lot of people on that 45 team, it was their first ever. Some of their first ever wins. Period. First ever Daytona 500. Like it's something that you, as a race fan or as a person that works in racing, you kind of dream about those moments, right? So you definitely have to enjoy them and take it all in. So, but yeah, just I think 3 wins in the beginning of the season, that's enough. I think you could let somebody else have a couple chances. So that was getting a little boring, but
Sharing this kid.
I feel like last last 2 weeks you really haven't heard much about them. So maybe that was just their time to shine, and we'll just go on and let everybody else have a couple chances.
All right, so many of you know that I do not wear my dad's Dale Earnhardt stuff ever. I have this shirt on, and then I've got the 2001 Dale Earnhardt hat, and there's a reason behind it. Brent, you want to tell us about Days Gone By vintage racing apparel?
Yeah. Well, I think it was, I've always collected antiques and advertising and automobilia, like all that stuff I've collected throughout my years growing up. And, I always saw racing stuff out and about when looking for, you know, rusty old signs and gas pumps and all that other stuff. And I always just kind of put it to the side because I'm like, oh, I work in racing. Why would I want that old junky T-shirt or that old junky hat or that old junky jacket? Well, this is I've told this story a couple times, but I built a house and I built a shop here in Mooresville. And, we had a couple. We were moving in and we had boxes worth of stuff. And actually, Ryan Blaney stopped by one day and we were looking through this one box, and there was probably 10 or 15 old school items, hats, shirts, just a bunch of stuff, just in a box we were moving. And he was like, "Oh, what's in that box?" And I showed him. And he's like, "Oh, it was a there's a funny clip of him dancing."
I think we lost him.
No. Where'd he go? He's frozen.
Yeah, he is.
Yo.
we'll get him back.
I'll text him and tell him he's frozen. Hey, go.
He'll come back. I put him in the waiting room for a second, see if it'll unfreeze him. But to see like the days gone by vintage racing apparel, I've actually been on the website and everything, and I
Got a
really
lot of cool
enjoy it.
stuff.
Like he's got his own Etsy page and everything,
Mhm.
so it's
Yeah, I bought
really
a lot of
neat.
stuff there. I spent too much money there. I got
You
Ronan a
have?
really cool retro Daytona International Speedway windbreaker jacket. Super
Nice.
cool. Super cool. He never wears it because it fell on the floor and my other son stepped on it. So
Oh
now we're
no.
keeping it protected in the closet because one of the letters faded. It's not very happy about that.
Well, like I said, I don't wear my dad's stuff. It's usually hidden or I wouldn't say hidden. It's on the rocking chair that he was his, or the hats are put away. And I had told Chrissy and I told Brent, I said, "Hey, I'm gonna wear it tonight. I don't break it out very often, but I'm gonna break it out." And I said, "Who would have thought that September 8th of 24, Dad passed, and now it's March 17th." And I'm wearing Dad's stuff for the show. Like it's just full circle. He came back in. There's two of them in here.
He's got two.
Yeah, he
Oh
the
no, he's
We're
back.
back. We almost made it through this whole thing without it having some kind of F up.
That
technical
was so cool.
difficulties.
So yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Obviously, I don't keep my phone charged enough, and it just dies throughout
Oh, is that
the.
what happened? It
Oh,
died?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So, but I got her plugged in now. I'm all good. I got a weird setup with an old Dale Earnhardt koozie and the phone in it, and we're plugged in, so ready to go. But
Perfect.
yeah, back to the Ryan Blaney's story with Days Gone By is there's a video of him and Daniel Hemrick dancing. He has this Troyer racing shirt on, which is from Rochester, New York, from up home, and that was the first shirt I ever sold. And then that kind of started Days Gone By because he bought this whole box of items, and I didn't know how much he charged for them. He just kind of threw out a couple of Benjamin Franklins, and I'm thinking, yeah. I just had an idea. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna. I see this stuff all the time. I'm right in the heart of Mooresville and racing, and so I just started buying up, all this racing stuff in bulk. People, unfortunately, people pass away that were in racing, and you just, you know, people want to throw that stuff away. Well, I just started buying it and buying it. Now I got a whole shop full of old vintage racing gear, and during COVID and the last couple of years, it was really a hot deal. A lot of people like the vintage clothing, and I just do it as a fun little side gig. I have a pretty good eye for older, racing memorabilia, and I know what people like and what people don't like. So yeah, it's not a job to me. It's just a fun hobby, and I make
Side
a little,
hustle.
yeah, a little bit of money doing it. It takes care of itself. I have an Etsy store. Everything's on there. I'll replenish it here and there, and I don't even really have to go shopping anymore because I can just go back out in a tote and just go shopping in my own place and refill the store. But no, it's cool. I like the old stuff. I don't really ever wear it because I'm just too broad of a shoulder guy to be wearing that old stuff. And it looks funny on me, so I don't really wear it as much as I probably should to promote it. But I enjoy it. I know the people enjoy it. Have a lot of not fans, but I have a lot of customers and a lot of people that ask about it. We did a whole thing at Darlington a few years ago with the whole Fox crew wore all my old stuff. Like the wardrobe team came and they took everything out of my shop and took it to Darlington, and everybody wore different stuff on the broadcast. So yeah, I mean, it's been pretty cool. I think it's just a fun thing to do. Some people do it for a living, and they don't like me because I just do it for fun, and I'm like a competitor of theirs. But I don't find it that way. I just find it some fun. Like take your competitiveness somewhere else. I don't. I'm just here for a good time, not a long
How
time.
dare you? How dare
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Better.
yeah. And then I used to have sales a lot, and people were so mad that I had sales.
I remember you
Like,
telling me that. You were like
yeah.
some You're telling me people got so upset with you having sales, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't have sales. All right, so I haven't had sales in a while. So people are missing out now. So, but no, it's fun. I enjoy it. I like going to the racetrack. I like seeing the stuff. I like the people that buy stuff from me that meet me at the racetrack. I feel like every hat, every shirt has a story, and those people can wear a Davey Allison shirt to a track, sit next to a new fan that has no idea who Davey Allison is, and they can tell them about it, right? So it's like you're selling history books, sort of, in a shirt or a hat. He's wearing, the Rockingham hat. If after Dale passed away, everybody had those hats. Like that was the hat everybody wore in memory of Dale. So like every little thing has a story. So I feel like I'm selling stories. So and anything to keep the sport alive. I see, when you're at the racetrack and you used to see Bobby Allison walking around or Donnie Allison, people don't know who they are. Like we don't do a good job as a sport promoting the people that have built the sport, right? Like those people should be walking around giving autographs, right? But everybody just walks right by some of those guys because they don't really know who they are. They know who Richard Petty is because he wears a cowboy hat and he has glasses, and it's just a known NASCAR guy. Everybody knows who Richard Petty is, but the Dave Marcuses and like those guys can walk around and not a lot of people, recognize them because we don't do a good job promoting those alumni guys, which now at Darlington this week, that's the big thing. It's like not really a throwback weekend anymore. It's more of a celebration of the NASCAR alumni. So all those guys come and you know, and you're representing the sport. And you're getting those guys' faces out there, and I think that's really what we need to do going forward. But bring back throwback weekend too, somehow or another.
Well,
yeah, like,
Carson definitely brought it back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Say
Well, like
weekend too,
yeah,
not just like where
yeah,
half the field does it.
yeah. I just feel like it. You can only, as much as I love the throwback, deal, like you run out of things to do, right? Like and you have so many different sponsors anymore. You have to get the sponsors on board. Like, these sponsors don't want to change up their logos and like if you're, I don't know, if you're Chili's, you got to go to them and say, hey, we're gonna make our car look like, Dale Earnhardt's 1980 paint scheme. What do you think? Yes, but not everybody's going to do that. You're not going to make a company change their logo into a Coors Brewing Company paint scheme because when you're looking at a car that looks like Bill Elliott's Coors number 9, you're thinking about Coors. You're not thinking about such and such.com that's on the side of the car. So, I think that has a lot to do with it. It's just getting sponsors to get on board with it. It's just too hard of a deal, and the paint schemes were getting used and over and over and over and over again. Like, we just got to back off for a little while and maybe start over again. Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Well, I was actually about to ask you, Brent. We're gonna have to do a part two at some point throughout the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to get you back in here when Scott can come on, and that way we can all sit down. Maybe we all can meet up at the track
Yeah.
and do like a like a mini show or something with
Yeah.
you at the track.
Yeah. He's a Pennsylvania guy. I think he's from around my area a little bit. So we have a little conversation about our little racing area in Pennsylvania. And
Yeah, he
yeah,
texted me. He said, I didn't know he's from Pennsylvania. Where's he at in Pennsylvania?"
yeah, yeah. I'm just the Mahoning Valley Speedway, Lehighton, Pennsylvania. That's my home track, and that's where I spent all my days as a youngin' watching my dad race. But I know he's around the Big Diamond area, and all the dirt tracks we used to go to as a kid too. So it'd be cool to catch up with somebody from home that knows the back roads and all that stuff to get to these little local tracks back in PA.
And hopefully we can catch you at Mansfield Speedway this year.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit of a what a dirt race. They
Yeah.
turned it back into a dirt track. Yeah.
Yep. Matt Tiff did a heck of a job
Yeah.
with it.
I know when we used to race at Mid Ohio, we would fly into Mansfield and we'd be right next to the racetrack, and it was dormant there for a few years, and you just flew over it and you're like, man, that's a shame because they had some good sprint car races there when it was dirt. Obviously, everybody knows the Donnie Leah Craftsman Truck Series race where he won his first race there. So it's good to see people getting these tracks back in gear because we don't want to see any of them just go away. And you got the Lost Speedway guy coming in tomorrow, and he can tell you a lot about those speedways going away and trying to revive some of these places from our childhood. And but yeah, it's great being on here. It's fun to talk about a few things and cut up a little bit. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Well, I had to have you on. I told Bobby you would be a fun one to interview since I've known you for a little bit. So thank you for joining. It's good to catch
Yeah.
up, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thanks. Sorry about the technical difficulties. You always got to have one. All
Yeah, you're okay.
right. You guys have a good night, and
All
thank you
right.
again.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. So it's you want to stay in here with me?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
finish it out real quick. So I want to give a shout out to all of our partners, um, Anamore Designs, Action RV, Circle B Diecast, Race Day Authentics, Alliance Driveway Solutions, Matman Designs, Runner's Roost, Fox Sport Spartanburg, Spartan Waste, Belcher Cheesecake Creations. I want to give a huge shout out to Chrissy and Scott. Brent, thank you again for jumping on with us tonight. I just, I'm excited about this whole entire podcast, to be honest. It went from being one episode of us just three guys talking about racing to now it's Chrissy, myself, and Scott, and we love what we're doing. And
Yeah. It's
Chrissy
been
just said,
awesome.
see you,
Yeah.
bye.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
I'm
thought
gonna go get some cheese. I'm gonna get some
it
cheesecake.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seriously. Rome, New York. If you're gonna get cheesecake, that is where you get it. Reach
Yeah.
out to that guy. He big, I mean, huge cheesecakes.
Rome, New York is the home of one of the greatest modified racers ever, Richie Evans, one of my favorite. So if I can get cheesecake from Rome, New York, I'm going to do it.
I will literally make a phone call and I can get you everything. We'll set it up. Have it
You let
delivered
me
to
know.
your house.
DM me some menus and we'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chrissy, I thanked all of our sponsors. You want to say anything before we head out?
Sorry, my kid has had the flu all week, so I'm like super tired. So I apologize for running out.
Well, yeah, he stayed and I was like, "Do you want to stay with me?"
I
Hey, I didn't know. I don't know the rules.
I totally bailed. I was like, I'm out, bye. But I'm sorry, I should not have ran out. No, I'm good. Thank you, Brent, again for hanging out. I know you're gonna give me
Yeah,
crap.
no problem. Thank you guys. I'm leaving.
All
Okay.
right, have a good night.
See ya.
Oh,
Sorry, Bobby.
that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. We're sitting here and I said, "All right, we'll see you later." And all of a sudden you're like, "See you, bye." And Brent, I just looked at Brent and I said, "Do you want to stay?"
Sorry.
So I want to make sure I didn't forget. Oh, Matrix Apparel. I forgot Matrix Apparel. I'm sorry
How
about
dare
that.
you?
I need to move this over so I can see the whole thing.
Or just get like a typed up list and
Yeah,
keep
I
it
need to do that and have it posted right here on my computer. That's my
for
bad.
response. That's
Want to
fine.
give a shout out to Alex Club, Jeff McConey over at Club Racing Inc. As many of you heard, I am now part of the team, and I am also the PR person for Alex and the social media manager. So pretty excited about that.
Don't
My
screw it
next
up.
race, huh? What's that?
Don't screw it up.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. So
I'm
my
just
next race will be Toledo. I will be over the wall. And the cool thing is we're bringing back the pink car. So I'm really excited about that. Um, I can't, like I said, I can't thank Chrissy and Scott and Brandon and Casey and everybody for everything they do. Looking forward to what this year is going to bring, and I'm I'm very, very excited about part 2 of our show, which is episode 111. Mr. Matthew Dillner, I should say.
Oh, we
I'm
met him at Daytona. He was a good dude.
Yeah, I was actually pretty. I just disappeared. Chrissy was like, "Where's he going now?" And I'm like, "See you, bye."
Yeah, and then we all met up and we were just all chatting for like 10 or so minutes, 10, 15 minutes. We had like a nice long conversation, just shooting the shit. And my husband and I didn't even think about getting a picture with him. We were just felt like talking to a friend, you know? So it was just having a good time. Then he walked away and I was like, oh, probably should have got a picture, but it's okay.
Yeah, wait till tomorrow. We have some surprises for you guys with Matthew. We're gonna talk about what we talked about at Daytona.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about. That's how that whole conversation started about getting him on the podcast. So we're
Hmm.
gonna fill out the details.
Standing on the rooftop of the Cup garage during was that the truck race? I think it was the truck race.
Uh, that was
Can't
cup
remember.
practice.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nice. That
So
was a good time. Good
it
dude.
was a very good time. But Chrissy, I know you want to get off here. Obviously, I'm gonna cut it short. Tomorrow's show will either start at 7:30 Eastern or it will start at 7:40. But we are going early because Mr. Matthew Dillner is about a 2.5 hour show if we let him talk the whole time. But we're gonna try to cut it at like an hour and 10, hour and 15. But if we start sooner, we might be able to get done and then we'll bring him back.
Always.
Just like we're doing with Brent. We'll probably do them both at the same, do them back to back again.
Oh, it'd be kind of fun if we had Brent and Garrett on. But we're gonna do Garrett with his dad, so no, we won't do that.
We actually tried to do that today and surprise him, but
Uh,
Garrett had obligations already.
Womp womp womp. All right, that's fine. We'll do it
But
another.
I might be able to get Jake Garcia or somebody like that.
We'll see. That'd be fun.
Maybe get Cody Ware.
We can definitely try. I'm sure Brent would maybe tell him, "Hey, we're
Yeah,
fun."
we can make that happen. But y'all, we will see you soon. And Chrissy, I will see you tomorrow. Maybe.
Am I able to leave now?
Yeah. Have a good night.
I don't mean to sound mean. I'm just asking.
No,
All right.
you're good.
Good night, everyone.